Hello, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council, staff, and members of the public. My name is Sherry Klima. I'm the Deputy City Manager, and this is the third amendment to the Professional Services Agreement with Creative Core Technologies. The recommendation is that the City Council approve and authorize the Mayor to execute a third amendment to the agreement with Creative Core Technologies in the amount of $1.7 million for a new not-to-exceed contract amount of $2.6 million to extend the term to the end of 2023 for project management services related to the ERP implementation. As you may recall, the ERP includes multiple functions that are really foundational to the city's work, including timekeeping, HR, payroll, budgeting, asset maintenance, grant management, and so forth. And the ERP integrates these functions so that they can speak to each other and they inform each other. This is the history of the ERP project. It began in 2016 when we started working on the RFP. The contract with Tyler Munis was signed in the 2019-2020 fiscal year, and we've been deep in this project ever since then. There are a lot of projects, project goals and benefits. This will definitely improve customer service and make it much easier for residents and businesses to conduct business with the city. It will allow for enhanced coordination and reduce redundant shadow systems. It will streamline all of our processes and enable real-time information such that we can update everybody in real time and integrate all of our databases. So there are a lot of improvements here and a lot of really important project goals and objectives. And this ultimately will bring us up to date with modern technology and allow us to function the way that cities function today. The timeline has been updated and will continue to be updated. A project this large with this many moving pieces needs to be agile and flexible. And so this project, we've already rolled out the time and attendance for most of the city staff. And we've done 2 years of core financials. We're about to go live with core financials. We're really in the thick of it with human capital management, which is the HR component to this. And then we have rolled out Bluebeam in community development, which was which allowed developers and individuals to scan and send over certain plans. But the bigger community development implementation, which is called EnerGov, is coming in about half a year. We will begin working on it, and that will go live in 2024. There are 2 more modules after EnerGov. And then because the advanced scheduling and time and attendance module did not meet the needs of police and fire, we've had to reevaluate and bring in additional software, which is In Time for the police department and Chronos for the fire department. Believe me, I have no interest in multiple software doing the same function, but this different software has different advantages and capabilities that are necessary for public safety to do the work that they do. Their advanced scheduling is much more complex than most of the rest of the city. And so we do need to integrate those additional 2 softwares into HCM. We did move back core financials in HCM. We rescheduled them to add an additional 3 months because there were key vacancies in the finance department, and there continue to be key vacancies in the IT team that would have, in my assessment, not created a positive go live in July of 2022. We wanted to give the new staff that has come in finance time to get up to speed. And then we also realized early on in the ERP implementation that going live at the start of a fiscal year has a higher risk of audit implications. And what I mean by that is if we place a financial transaction in July instead of in June, that would have audit implications because it is then attached to the wrong fiscal year. However, if instead we upload a transaction in October instead of September, it doesn't have the same impact because it is in the same in the same fiscal year. And so for these reasons, I made the decision to reschedule the launch of core financials, and that has the impact also of rescheduling the launch of HCM because of the crossover in staffing and consultant resources. On the project management side, we did have an in-house project manager, and then we turned to one consultant. But by the summer of 2021, a lot of the work had slowed down, and we turned to Creative Core to perform a project assessment, and then brought them on board to get this up and running again. We've made good progress on core financials and on HCM with Creative Core since that time. And so we have come back to council with amendments to that contract, and that is why we're back with this third amendment. I want to emphasize this is not the final amendment to this contract. Assuming that Creative Core continues to do a good job on this project, we will be back because this is not all of the project management services for the whole ERP. This is for the upcoming year and a half. But the project is a 5 or 6 year project, so we will need more services after that. Of course, if the Creative Core does not serve the city's needs, we will be looking at somebody else for those services. In this amendment, the $1.7 million can be broken down, as you can see on your screen. There is an impact to rescheduling core financials and HCM, and providing support immediately following the launch of core financials. There is an impact of $220,000 of integrating police and fire time and attendance software. And there's also an impact of starting the project management for Energov and really just the very beginning of EAM. Finally, we need IT support services throughout this project, but we especially need it now that our IT staff we are in the midst of recruiting. And if we are not successful in those recruitments, and we are going in a very difficult recruitment market, then we have a contingency for IT support services. The recommendation again is that the council approve and authorize the mayor to execute this third amendment with Creative Core Technologies for a not to exceed contract amount of $2.6 million and an extension of the term to the end of 2023 for project management services related to the ERP. I will be available as well as critical staff at the council meeting to answer any of your questions. Thank you.